Good morning and welcome to Ask the Expert. I'm Joe Taylor. This morning, another in the ongoing series of programs presented by the Northwest Regional Key Program for Quality Early Learning. The program, through the Northwest Institute of Research, oversees a grant from the Office of Child Development and Early Learning at the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services and the Department of Education. The goal of the program is to improve the outcomes for young children as they prepare for school. John Posa from the Pennsylvania Key is the host of the program and is with us throughout the series. Usually we have someone on the line. This morning we have someone right here in the studio, and I recognize her.
Yes, we sure do. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Good morning. We're so pleased to welcome Jackie Syktich this morning. Jackie has probably been on Joe's show before. Jackie is the executive officer of the Clearfield County League on Social Services, based in Clearfield, and we're so happy to have you on the program to talk about all the great things that the league does and some exciting things coming up. So welcome, Jackie.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Joe.
Well, first of all, for our listeners who may not be familiar with the organization, tell us a little bit about the league and some of the programming that it does.
The league has historically serviced families and children. So we're all about that family unit and making sure that early childhood care is taken care of, as well as in education. The league has been around since 1974, and again, historically has been known for the car seat program, Children First, which was a program that did a lot for divorced families. We have a Safe Haven program, which deals with safe exchange for families, and that works out really, really well. We have a great team with that. We also have the Child Care Information Services, which will soon be known as the Early Learning Resource Center, which is such great news. So we'll talk a lot about that, I'm sure, John.
Sure.
And then we have the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which is an excellent program. And from someone who doesn't always eat like I should, I have to say that the Child and Adult Care Food Program has opened my eyes to we really, really want healthy bodies, healthy children, healthy families. So the Child and Adult Care Food Program oversees making sure that children get the components that they need to build strong bodies and stay healthy. So that's a great program.
Well, obviously, all of those programs are critical components to all of the early learning projects within the state. But as part of the new Early Learning Resource Center alignment, of which the league has been awarded that grant to operate and provide services in the North, Central, and Northern Tier region. Child Care Works is really a core program and entity as part of that whole system, is it not?
Yes. Child Care Works is a program that has been state funded for many, many years. And what that program does is it works with working families. We want to make sure, anymore we all have to, earn a living and take care of our families. And in probably the last decade or two, a lot of two-parent families are out working, and a lot of single parents too. So the Child Care Works the Child Care Works program helps families meet income guidelines. There's a series of guidelines you have to meet, and so there's that eligibility. And once they meet that, then we help subsidize their child care, and the goal is to put them into quality child care programs so that all children are cared for properly.
Yes, and the league is the entity for serving working families in not only just Clearfield County, but Clearfield, Jefferson, and Clarion County. Yes.
Right.
And the league has had that program, not a real long period of time, but
for the last 5 years, we've had Clearfield. We had been Clearfield for a lot of years, and 5 years ago we had then serviced the Clarion and Jefferson counties, and those families, again, great to work with, and has really opened the doors for more services and things. And we travel a lot and meet literally in their areas to service all the clients in Jefferson and Clarion counties, as well as Clearfield.
Right.
Can you give us maybe some general guidelines that would qualify families for the subsidy for their pre-K kids program?
For the children that do pre-K, there's a series of you'd have to go onto our website with Child Care Works, and you could see the different income guidelines that are listed. And it's situated by families of course, 4, 3, 4, and so forth. And then for pre-K counts, that's a little bit different scenario, Joe. Those are usually for children that are in a status of usually toddlers and going in and getting great education through childcare as well as school.
So there are two different situations, and Child Care Works, and then the other one for pre-K.
Right, and then there's also Head Start, and those are all designed to make sure that children are learning. I think one of the biggest success stories we ever have is they always say, and that was sort of a surprise to me in my former life in the college world. I think I had this like hiccup moment when I found out that, mainly habits, attitudes, beliefs, and expectations are formed 85% between the ages of 3 and 5. And, I had 3 children in 3 years, and I went, oh no, I hope I didn't miss the mark, I mean, you just panic because there's so much, and I guess we just don't realize that. I think you always feel like everything's a learning moment. However, it's really, really important that we pay attention to what goes on with our children, and they are our future. So, we really need to spend time and put money forth to that. So this Early Learning Resource Center piece is fabulous that they're doing that and spearheading that. And it'll align all of that, Joe. That was a good question. It'll take the Child Care Works. It'll take the Keystone Stars program. Keystone Stars goes out into our child care centers, our family homes, our group daycare homes. And what they do is they go out and they help them and make sure that they have that quality education and that there's an education component. So, people think that, they need to be in front of literally like a desk and a chalkboard and things, but it's not. Play is learning. So for children, that's a big piece of that. So with the pre-K counts and the Head Start and all of that early intervention, we're doing great things with that.
I have to confess, John, we've been doing this show together now for maybe 3 or 4 years,
right,
I think.
Right.
And I'm always confused by all the different entities and the
Yes,
abbreviations.
yes.
I know.
So with this new Early Learning Resource Center model, they're all going to be in one? Is that how it's going to differ from what has been in place? In fact, technically, I guess, is until the end of June.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, until the end of June. And that's a good point, Joe and John. When I started at the League, I was very confused by all the acronyms. Actually, I had to make a little chart. CCW.
I should have done that.
Yeah,
Right.
I had to.
Alphabet
and it's still
soup.
on my bulletin board because, again, I tend to say the full name because I had worked with college students for so many years, and until they're actually in the classroom, you have to say it all or they'll get lost in that shuffle of acronyms. So for us, CCW, Keystone Stars, NWIR, there's so many,
right.
CACFP, there's so many different initials. Even for our board, I use the cheat sheet also for CACFP, meaning Child and Adult Care Food Program. But Keystone Stars, the pre-K pieces, early intervention, you'll hear that called EI. You'll hear ECMH, which is early childhood mental health. You'll hear TA, which is technical assistance. You hear PD for professional development. So that's such a good point, Joe. The goal was, and you have to remember, I came in came in March, and then I was full-time in May, and there was this whole shift to this next 5 years was going to be a new venture. So, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, and that can be very helpful and good and also scary. So we had met at the forum in Harrisburg, and they said, we're going to do this all different, and we are going to blend and merge our quality piece of the house, which is our Keystone Stars, that goes out and works with childcare, again, homes, daycare, the group, daycare, and then the centers. And they try and have them build and achieve levels of what's called stars 1, 2, 3, 4, and the higher they go, they offer different levels of quality. So we're merging with them, Child Care Works, which is specifically the agency that was the part we were handling at the League on Social Services. So the goal was to put us all in one place, to combine us and make it more of a one-stop shopping. Do you remember, there's been other agencies that have done this one-stop shopping to try and get, so that families And child care providers aren't confused with whose door am I knocking on, who am I calling, and we're trying to put all those sites and all those links and things together in this one-stop shopping so that people can find all of this out through us. So we're sort of like a, I don't know, like a help desk of all of that.
So bureaucratically, it makes it easier for you. You don't have to walk around with a 3x5 card.
Yes.
And for a parent and for families, obviously, the advantage, right?
They don't even have to worry about learning that card.
Right, exactly.
Good point, Joe.
And the way that this was set up, for folks who have listened to the program for a while, know about the regional keys. And of course, you know, I work through the Pennsylvania key, and the Pennsylvania key is not going anywhere. But the 5 regional keys in the past, theoretically, are kind of like evolving into the early learning resource centers. So there will be 19 throughout the state, 19 early learning resource centers, and they're by number. So the league, the Clearfield County League, was the grantee for Region 2.
Yes.
Right? And we're actually, the league will be actually providing services and partnering with programs not only just for Clearfield, Jefferson, and Clarion, but I think there's 9 counties,
there's 9.
Right?
We're going to be taking on 9 counties. So it's a little breathtaking, but again, from my past background, when you look at the counties we'll be serving, this is rural, regional part of Pennsylvania. And I always call it, you know, God's country here in rural Pennsylvania. And I think we live in the greatest place, of course. I'm going to be biased. But we will be serving the 9 counties. And so we will be going to Warren, Forest. We'll be adding Potter, McKean. We'll be adding Elk and Cameron. Had to think there for a second. And then in addition, we will have the Clarion, Jefferson, and Clearfield. And the really nice thing is when this happened, the state had really allowed it up to us through an RFP, which is a request for proposal. They really left it up to us, and they really gave us the guidance. Their objective was to take what we currently have, like you said, John.
Right.
There will be 19 now, and there used to be what was called the 5 regional keys throughout the state of Pennsylvania that did a fabulous job. And I do have to say, John, when I first started, I actually attended in Brookville at a session you were doing, and your enthusiasm made me feel like I picked the right spot and that I was doing the right thing. I just felt like this is a really good thing to be doing. I can really get my fingers into this and make things happen. And of course, we chatted from then, and you helped me with several things that I needed. So I always felt like the Keystone Stars and Pennsylvania Keys were always good friends with what the league needed. And so what they're basically doing is they're now making us side-by-side partners.
Right.
So when we were asked to put this request for proposal together, they asked us to look for partners. And we picked, of course, John's very familiar with the group we picked, which is the Northwest Regional Key, which will be Northwest Institute of Research.
Right.
So they're our partners. So we're doing this together for the 9 counties.
I've been writing that all down, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay, Joe. Well, and I think that makes it easier for the families in those 9 counties that they're not going to really, I don't think, see much of a transition, or I'm hoping there won't be much transition, because they're going to still be working with their same quality coaches, the designator, the people that are coming out and helping them make sure things are going well. And it'll be our same team of people with Child Care Works. So I think for our region, I think we did it right, and I think the people will be recognizing the same faces and will get that same quality care. So it is a big deal, though. I mean, 9 counties for Region 2, so we went from 47 entities down to 19, and we were selected as one of those. So we were doing the happy dance.
Yes,
very grateful that it was kept in our area. So.
Absolutely. And the important thing is, as Jackie mentioned, while the Northwest Institute of Research, which is the sponsor of this program, which is based in Erie, was the partner in this Region 2 Early Learning Resource Center. And that was the key word, partnership, when this whole concept came about, because not any one specific entity can do it alone. You have to have partners in this working together. And that's why there's going to be very little the alignment made sense because a lot of the same people through the Northwest, which will be the end of the Northwest Key, which is the Northwest Institute of Research, a lot of those same people working in the STARS program, as Jackie said, will still be the same folks servicing this area in terms of the quality component. So I'm really excited, and I think it's going to bring great things for the area. I really do. And just to piggyback on what Jackie had talked about, one of the things that when I did that presentation, and Jackie and her staff came, as I just thought, I think it's important, and even more so now, to kind of do outreach on this change in forming the early learning resource centers, so that people and families understand, what it means to them. Okay, and more than anything else, it's just the impact that quality learning has in getting children ready for school. It's kind of what we've been preaching from day one since we started the program. So,
Jackie, being fairly new to this, which gives you some perspective, how successful, in your opinion, have advocates of early childhood learning been in getting the word out to parents, especially lower-income parents here in our region, about the importance of pre-K and how to access them, and what more needs to be done now that pretty much the ball is in your court?
Joe, that's a great question. From the regional side of it, I felt very confident. I think it's mainly because I feel like we have a small town mentality, even though we get a lot of big town things done. But I think we're very much aligned with taking care of our families and our community. So I think that speaks volumes from the area that we're from in Region 2. And I think it's one of those things, you go to the grocery store, you know your neighbor. I come in here, I know everyone. I mean, you just feel good. You feel like you're at home. So I feel like we've done a great job with that. However, there can always be more things done. I think we've turned into a world of click on this link, click on this, click on that. That all helps, but I still think you need that face-to-face, and you need that person that you can talk to. And since I have been at the League, that is the most important to me, is that customer service piece. When someone calls in, I want to make sure that they know we're there for them, and we're going to go wherever they need to go. There was a gentleman the one day, and he's taking care of childcare in Clarion, and he said to me, you have to understand, I have to pick, these kids up at this time. I have to go take care of my sister's kids at that time, and they're all on different schedules. And I said, you know what? You tell me exactly when it works for you, and I will meet you exactly where we need to be in Clarion. And it worked out. And you need to be flexible like that. And the League the staff has always been very flexible. The other night we had a learning communities. Actually, we held it in Clearfield because that seemed to work for most people. And we had about 12 in attendance. Some from DuBois, some from Housedale. Kerwinsville, Grampian, all over, our child care providers came in, and it gave them time to just chat and talk. And it runs from 6 to 8, but of course it's still 9, and they're finishing things up, and it just works because people like that face-to-face, that one-on-one communication, and then they spread the word as child care providers to all of their families. And again, we like to get out, like I've been out reading the book Momo, as John knows, and I get out to these pre-K counts classrooms, and that's the best part. I'm telling you, as a child care provider, what a cool job. I mean, I know they have it tough every day. I mean, you can only imagine watching so many kids all day long.
Right.
But the greatest gift is I got in there, and they're hugging the side of my leg as I'm standing, and I'm reading the book, and they come up, and they can't wait to just give you big hugs, and thank you, Miss Jackie, thank you. And you know what? I left there feeling like I was top dog. It just made my day.
Yeah, I hear you. I have the same experience when I go in and see those kids, whether it's reading the PA1 book to them or just going for a visit. I just really enjoy spending the time with kids. Yes. So, okay, I'm going to ask you, Jackie, because this will be a change, and there's probably a lot of parents that probably would want to know this. Okay, so now we're going from the 3 counties being served through Child Care Works to expanding to 9. Okay, so if a parent lives in McKean County,
right,
wants to apply for Child Care Works to be able to help pay for their child care while they go to work, because the agency is based in Clearfield, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will have to come to Clearfield to apply, correct?
No, we go to them. What we felt, because you have to in a rural region. You can't really, I mean, think about it. You could live in Big Run, and Punxsutawney could feel like, an hour for you to get to her. What if you don't have a car? So we go to where the client is. We make it very client friendly. So we go to the families, we make it work for them. And we're doing the same with the Keystone Star side of it.
Right.
We have kept the same team. One is located in the St. Mary's region. Another is located in the Warren region. Sorry, couldn't think there for a moment. The Warren region. And then we have the Clearfield region. So they're used to traveling and being based out of their home for certain things. As far as the league employees, we're very used to getting in our cars and going to where the client is, because it's scary for them. They don't know everything they have to complete. Most of it's done through an application process. So what has to happen is a lot of times we get the call first, and then we send everything out, and then what we do is we walk them through it, and then we meet with them face to face, and it takes about an hour to 2 hours depending on what all needs done. And then we get that all rolling, and for the most part, their parents are very, very busy, and they like it that they can just call in and get an answer. And if not, we'll meet with them wherever they need us to meet. Any questions, concerns? So basically, we're traveling representatives. You're right, John. That's a good point to say, is you don't have to worry if you're living in Potter County, like, how do we get to you from Clearfield?
Exactly.
So we make it fit for them. We will also be doing regional town hall meetings where we'll be going out and meeting with them and inviting all the parents. Letters will go out to every single parent. Letters will go out to all the providers in all of those 9 counties. And tomorrow, really neat things happening. We're having the state Oakdale Office of Childhood Development and Early Learning. They have a branding team that's coming out. We have a new logo. So they'll be talking to us about how to get this word out, as you had mentioned, Joe. How do we get this word out so everybody knows there's a transition, that we're going from this 47 to 19, and what does ELRC mean? It's this one-stop shopping, so everything's going to happen in one place. And they're coming tomorrow, so lots of things will be happening in the news, and they're going to tell us what all we need to do to make that happen.
Yeah, it's great. Now, you mentioned, and we're recording this in advance, so tomorrow is actually today.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yes.
It's actually today, so it's probably taking place as we speak.
Yes.
But yeah, no, the branding and the whole outreach approach is, folks will be hearing more about the ELRC, as we call it, the alphabet soup again, Early Learning Resource Centers. So it is a change, but it is a change for the better. I mean, it's smart thinking. It's smart thinking on the part of the state in terms of providing services. And instead of a lot of these entities maybe in the past kind of operating somewhat like silos, now it's all going to be self-contained, because we all are partners together, all of the various services. So we only have a minute left, Jackie. Do you want to tell our listeners anything as we close, to exciting things to look forward to?
Well, I think, as John mentioned, the most important thing is that we're partnering, and I found that very valuable. When the request for proposal came out, it could have been anybody across the state doing this, but I think we did the right thing by partnering with the team that everybody knows to keep it all local, keep jobs in this area, and the most important thing is the state is invested in children and families. That's the most important piece.
Absolutely, and that's something that I think we're finally getting to where we need to be, and our children are our future.
Yes.
And let's face it, they deserve all of our attention and all the resources that we can provide for them, so that they can have a healthy and happy and successful career.
So true.
Thanks so much for being on the show,
Thanks,
Jackie.
John.
I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Joe.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, John. And that's our program for today. We'll be back in 2 weeks at this same time. In the meantime, you can go online to learn more at papromiseforchildren.com. For John Posa and the Northwest Regional Key Program for Quality Early Learning, I'm Joe Taylor. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.